What's up, Ann?
A lot.
You ready for this?
I am ready for this. We got to set this guy up because he sounds real interesting.
Mr. Steve Richardson. Steve is talking to us from the Fresno, California metropolitan area. Steve and I have known each other 25? Longer. How many years, Steve?
At least 25, David.
25 years, Mr. Steve Richardson and I have known each other.
A long time. Probably longer for him than for you to know you that long.
It's been quite the challenge. Steve, you're in the floor covering industry.
Yes, for over 30 years.
What do you do?
Well, my focus has always been on customer service, providing an experience second to none. I like to work with all of the staff and train them from regional managers to salespeople. I've trained hundreds and hundreds. Basically build a vision for them that they can see the greatness inside of them and try to bring that out.
Is it how you recruit them? How do you train them? How do you motivate them? What's the key ingredient?
Yeah, that's a great question, David. Probably all of the above. I mean, obviously talented people is easier to work with, but there's always a ton of people that you run across that they don't have the vision that they see that you see. So it's your job to work with them and pull that out. Sometimes that takes a little bit of time. Sometimes that takes more. But once you do that, and once you show them a vision and they buy into that, then you find that they begin to train other people. And before you know it, you've got many trainers throughout your entire organization because you've taken a he or a she and you've shown them something that they didn't see in themselves. And once they start to have some success, buy their first car, buy their first home, get married, have their first child, and really buy into the idea of learning how to continue to self-educate, it becomes amazing.
One of the foundations of our podcast is be the best you. Be the best you can become. And I think that's one of the mantras of the cornerstones of who you are, of what has always motivated you, is to find someone who you can add quality to who they are and make them become the best they can be.
Absolutely. What I have found is that there's so many people that are just looking for somebody to believe in them, somebody that will help train them, somebody that will show them different opportunities. And then once they buy into that, and once they start to utilize those talents, and then as we talk about self-educate, and that's through practice, drill, and rehearsing, that's through reading, that's through continued education. And once they see that their career starts to take off because they start doing these tenets, that's when they become very, very dangerous. Dangerous in a good way, meaning that they can't get enough of it and they want more and more.
Who believed in you to get you to where you are today?
That's a great question, Ann. So, I got married early on in my career. I've been fortunate. I've been married 41 years and I was running a huge distribution center. And I ran across a person that says, you're a great salesperson stuck in a warehouse position. And I made the move after 10 years running a huge distribution center. He trained me, showed me different motivational books. And it was so a profound change in my life in terms of economics, in terms of confidence, in terms of how it went in terms of my family and my daughters. I wanted to emulate that and make sure that I gave back what I received. And I've been doing that for a little over 30 years.
Do you feel like you're a much different person now as opposed to when you started as a result of all that?
Absolutely. I think one of the keys, and this is something I think is critical, is that David touched upon it, Ann, and you as well, self-education. I read about 2 hours every day. That's 700 hours a year. That's over 30,000 hours in my lifetime. I've changed multiple times in my life based on things that I've read, things I believe, things that have become innate now in me. And I think once people realize that there's so many different options, so many different things that they can do that will enhance their lives, I think then they really want to do that.
You read. Is it all one genre? Is it all self-help?
Great question, David. It's absolutely the opposite. It's reading a little bit about everything so you can relate to each person. It's understanding people who have come from nothing and become successful, or people who become successful and had nothing and then reinvented themselves and became successful again. It's books that are scholars and unscholars. It's a plethora of different things. And I think that's what well rounds us. think that's what allows us to communicate with each person, because we all come from a different facet or a different phase in our life. How do we relate to them if we don't have layers and layers of understanding of different cultures, motivations, and beliefs?
Steve, how come you're not a professional speaker, motivator, and author? I mean, you're the total package.
That's something that I've had the opportunity over the years to do. And I'm one of those people. I'm from a very small bedroom community. I have 2 daughters who are both award-winning teachers. I'm heavily involved in our church, and I did not want to travel. I did not want to move our family. I had an opportunity to make a lot more money at different courses in my life, but I felt like balance and being able to be involved with the community, to be involved with the church was more important to me. And that was the route that we took. And in retrospect, looking at it where I'm at today, I'm very confident that that was the right decision.
So when you say you read a lot, is that how you start your day and end your day? Do you bookend your day with that?
That's exactly, and you're spot on. I start my morning early, and I actually read before I get started, and I read before I go to sleep every night. It gets me started, gets the engine going, gets my mind moving, gives me maybe a thought that I didn't have, or something that I saw that I think is profound and I want to share with others. I think it's such a powerful tool. I think the biggest misconception is that we all have to have MBAs. I don't have one. That we all have to have these big degrees. And listen, my daughters do, and I'm proud of them. As I said, they're both award-winning teachers. But for me, it's self-education, and I self-educate every day.
You have probably motivated 1,000 salespeople, 500 to 1,000 under your direct tutelage. Who motivated you? How did you become? Was it self-motivation? Was it self-determination? How did you get to be here?
Yeah, great question, David. So as I alluded to earlier, yes, I had a great mentor that got me into the business and trained me. But I also had a partner that I worked with that I still talk to every day, that I worked side by side for 30 years. And the irony behind that is that we challenged each other every day to become better. But we did it in a way where we didn't take offense to it. We would work with a customer, and then we would look at it and evaluate it and say, hey, did we handle that perfectly, or could we have gone a different route? So we challenged each other every day to become better. And I think because we did that, each of us grew, and we got better and better in our profession. We were able to move that on to the staff that we work with. And we've had a real good run because of it.
Outside of family, which I know is paramount and number one, what are your big successes? Where do you say, look at me, this is what I've done. I've accomplished this.
Yeah, I think if you had to look at legacy, you'd start with a successful marriage of 41 years. Me and my wife are not only successfully married, we're best friends.
That was the answer. That's why I said, with the exception of family.
With the exception of family, I think success it's all relative, David. I do what I love and love what I do. I've been able to do that for the last 30 years. I've met so many people like you, David. You know how I feel about you. Regardless of the podcast, you've helped me unbelievably in my career. We
I wasn't fishing for that, Steve. I wasn't fishing for that.
I understand, but David, that's the truth, and you know that. And I have relationships like you throughout the country, and that's the beauty of networking. That's the beauty of working with people and looking for nothing in return. I call those meaningful relationships. Not what I can do for you, you can do for me, but just what we bring to each other in our life and how we carry ourselves. And to me, that's what success is, right? I've done everything that I've wanted to do. I've done video series. I've been keynote speaker. I've coached softball for 6 years. I played college football. I mean, a lot of things that I wanted to do. I've checked all those boxes. But the biggest box is I have meaningful relationships. I recently just had a 60th birthday. I'm now 61. And I went to a big steakhouse, and at a big steakhouse. And
I guess we have to entertain ourselves until we
We
do. He's impressive.
And he told me that he spoke at some of your conventions. Was he at the one in
He's
Chattanooga?
blinking.
It's working now. Steve, can you hear us?
I can. And yeah, I was at the one in Chattanooga and one in
We were
Kansas
talking
City.
about you.
You froze on so we had to ad lib a little bit, improvise. At one time, Steve was a big bobber. So we had big bobs across the country, and Steve was in Fresno, and I recognized his unique, and I say unique, very few people have his passion for excellence. And I thought it could be contagious if given a bigger platform. So I asked him, and he agreed to be the vice president of Big Bobs of America, in charge of sales training and motivation, and he fulfilled those obligations like a superstar.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you spoke at some of his conventions. Was he at the one at which I spoke in 2009, Chattanooga?
I was not.
You at 2009?
Not. But I wish I would have, Ann.
I was just curious.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the year I was in the Poker World Series, by the way.
Well, you're not going to forget that then, right?
No, I got a poster up on my wall to remind me every day.
So, Ann, what did you speak about at the convention? Let's talk about you. What happened?
Oh, no, this is all about you. I think basically that was 14 years ago. Basically, it was some of the core values with which my, at the time, nearly 108-year-old grandma raised me. So,
Steve, what was your most recent position, and how long you were there, and what did you achieve there?
Yeah, so I work for one of the largest retailers in the United States, and I was the vice president of sales and motivation. I worked there for 7 years, an amazing company, and we were able to continue to grow the sales end of it and continue to find great salespeople and great managers. And I took a pause in my career because it's interesting, Ann, you just talked about your 108-year-old. I have an 85-year-old father that I'm currently taking.
Hold on, before we get there. How big was the company when you first got involved with them?
I think it was roughly 40 million.
How big was the company when you left them?
Over 100 million.
And the growth is basically all about people.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, absolutely.
Getting the right people to take a company from 40 million to take a company to over 100 million is all about the people. It's not about the product. The product is a widget. It's the people that represent the company that make it grow.
At the end of the day, that's the heart of any company, right? You're only as good as your people, right? They represent your brand. They represent your products. The customers buy from people. They buy because they trust them. They buy because they believe they're going to give them a great product. They believe they're going to get great service. And ultimately, when you do those things, that results in a referral. And the referral is the person across the street who said, hey, who did you purchase that from? And they say, we had a great experience with this company. And before you know it, those branches continue to grow. And before you know it, there are trees throughout every single residential neighborhood because you weren't worried about one sale. You were worried about every sale. And that's taking care of each person one at a time.
See, Steve, very few people are born with these instincts and core values. They're implanted with them, and they have to learn these skills and these values. And that's why what you have done can never be given enough value, because you recruit people who might have some of the ingredients, but you've molded them into a juggernaut of a sales organization. And I don't think you have ever gotten enough credit, and I don't know how much credit, how big your paychecks were, but never enough for what you accomplished.
At the end of the day, the credit is the people that you trained and seeing what they've seen, and ultimately
anything else. So you're temporarily retired.
I say my career is in a pause moment.
Tell me why. Tell me why.
Yeah. So great question. So I think this is critical. Look, man, had a great job, dream job, great company, loved everything that I did. But it was demanding, right? Because you're going to have to travel 50,000 miles a year, and you're going to have 150 emails a day and 100 calls, all which I love. Check, check, check. However, my father became very ill and had fallen 3 times. And at 84 years old, we had to make the decision that we had to move him into our home. And my father is my hero. My father is my mentor. My father, as I said, came from Joplin, Missouri at the age of 10 with 5 brothers and sisters during the Dust Bowl. They came via train with $10 or they were going to starve to death. He started working at 10 years old in the cotton field. He then went into the service right after he graduated in the branch of the Navy, served on the Forrestal and the Intrepid, which are two of the most famous aircraft carriers. And at 85 years old, he can't take care of himself. He is needing of assistance. So I am foregoing my career to take care of my father as long as that takes. And I'm going to do that with honor and dignity. I see him every day. He's currently in the hospital, and he's been there the last 2 weeks. So we'll be there a couple more weeks. But I think at the end of the day, that's my priority.
Steve, do you understand? Do you understand you're the exception? There's an old adage, a son's a son till he takes a wife, a daughter's a daughter the rest of her life. And usually it's only the daughters that go back and take care of their parents. The fact that the son has given up a lucrative, successful, stimulating career and prioritized, of all things, family, of all things, my father needs me, that's why you're my hero. You're my hero because of your priorities of what's important in life.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
And I'm humbled by that. You know,
How's your father's health today?
You know, it's not great. I just got off the phone with a team of doctors. He did a valve replacement on his heart a little over a year ago. Tomorrow they're going to work on his esophagus. He's got neuropathy in his feet because of a colon cancer that he went through. And, you know, my father lost his first son, my brother, at age 48. He hit a semi and passed. And then we lost my mom early from Parkinson's. So there's just no way I couldn't be there for my father. He's been through a lot. I've been through a lot. At the end of the day, for me, it's faith, family, and friends. And although people are always looking to make money, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that, that's never been my driving force. My driving force has always been, how do I make a difference in someone's life? How do I change someone's life? How do I change the direction? And will they duplicate that? And I've talked to many people over the years, and they now pay it forward. And they're now doing the same thing. And I think that's where you become the best you. And I think that's how we change society one person at a time.
Steve, I would be absolutely thrilled to work for you because of every single day, that positive attitude, that be the best you. How can I motivate you to move forward in the direction that you've chosen to move? And I'm just going to help you, show you the path, teach you some of the easy steps that you haven't thought of yet, and encourage you. I think you're a world-class motivator, a world-class teacher, and I would have been thrilled to have been one of your pupils. How about you?
Oh, definitely. I was just thinking so many people, and I'm guilty of this at times. You wake up in the morning and you start your day with a negative attitude, which is very common. How do you get people to change and flip the script, even when things are falling apart in their lives?
Yeah, you know, we have to persevere, right? And we are all given trials, right? But what we have to realize is that when we're going through these tough times, Ann, people are watching, right? And if I bring that negative energy to work, everyone's negative. If I'm down, they're down. If it's the end of the world, it's the end of the world to everyone. And I refuse to bring that. I'm going to bring energy every day. I'm going to bring hope every day. I'm going to bring light every day. And I think people are better because of it. And I think that's what gives them hope. That's what allows them to dream. You know, my wife just beat cancer 5 years ago. She had stage 3 breast and lymph node cancer. We didn't miss a beat, man. I came in every day. We're beating this. And she's fighting there right along with me. And, you know, we've had our challenges. We lost our first grandson. You know, you're going to have challenges. How you respond to that, how you go about your business.
How it is.
That's what people are going to look at. They're going to determine, hey, do I want to follow that or not? Do I want to buy into that or not? Is that real or is it not? And I think over time, you know, my father used to say that's your body of work, right? Over time, people realize I want a part of that.
Steve, no one would ever accuse you of being an underachiever, right? You're an underachiever. You, my friend, are an underachiever. You should have been running a $2 billion company. You should have had 1,000 salespeople underneath your tutelage. What you should have done should have been a lot more exposure to a lot more people. And one of the reasons I think you should write a book and do more speaking is your message needs to be heard. You've had a very, very meaningful career. You haven't touched enough people. What you have is very, very special. And I think a lot more people need to hear it. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. Get a book out.
Really? But who, Ann, can you help him write a book?
Definitely.
Ann's a ghostwriter for books, but you should have a book. Your story is one of the most amazing, motivating stories. The way you tell it is pure magic. Pure magic. And I'd love to read it. I really would. I'd love for you to be my next door neighbor. I think everything about you is electric, that there's just so much energy that would fire up anybody in your circle.
Thank you, David.
You're a true superstar.
Thank you.
What else we got for you? When are you coming to Kansas City?
I think sooner than later. Obviously, that's something that we've discussed. Obviously, it depends on my father's health, right? That's the next step. What's that look like? And only time will
I'll tell you what. Next time you come to Kansas City, depending on the time of year, Chiefs or Royals.
It'll be either for sure, right? There's nothing like Arrowhead, but Kaufman's great too.
Sure. But I'm going to tell you, Arrowhead at this time of year is a lot more exciting than Kaufman Stadium.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You want to see the Chiefs. By the way, Steve and I talk sports all the time. And
Yes.
One of the few guys I know who knows more about sports than I do. And his insight and input is spectacular. Too bad you're a Packer fan, but that's just the way it is.
It is. It is. Go
What
figure.
What are the Packers going to do this year?
It depends, right? Because they're changing the guard, right? They got a new quarterback coming in, and are they going to believe in him, and are they going to respond to him? And they're going to learn. They're going to have some tough times, but if they grow off of that, they can become as good as they want. So that's actually up to them.
They need to go and inspire them.
So if I could leave a message today, I don't know who the viewership is on the podcast. Here's the message I really want to leave. You can become whatever it is that you want to become. And you need to believe in yourself first. A lot of people are waiting for someone else to help them.
You make in life. It's the choices that you make in life that dictate the path you go down.
It really is. And I just want people to realize, don't wait for someone else, right? Start tomorrow. I'll give you 3 examples of how things can change drastically for you. You know what? When you wake up, put something positive in your mind and finish something positive in your mind every day. Another thing that I do that I've always done is every day I think of 5 things I'm thankful for. I wake up, I'm thankful for my health.
Wow.
I'm thankful for my parents. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for my job. I'm thankful that I live in the United States of America. And it kind of really focuses and sets my mind in a great area, right? I've started my day off reading something motivational, biblical, and then I go into the things that I'm thankful for, right? And then the third thing is that I realize that I can have an effect on somebody today. I can be a better son. I can be a better husband. I can be a better father. I can be a better coworker. And that drives me. It drives me to be the best person that I'm capable of. And I think if you do that, you can reach a lot of people. And I think people can start to realize I can have the same impact. And I think too many people are waiting for other people to do it for them. And they have to do it themselves.
Is it because they're entitled or because they're lazy?
I don't think they've been shown the vision, David. I think a lot of people have managers that haven't been trained. It's strange, right? Like we train new people, but do we train the manager to train the new people the way that we really want them trained? And I think sometimes we don't have the greatest management teams. And I think we need to look at that and say we need to do a better job training the managers because they're training the new people. And now we have the synergy that we want, right? So I think if you look at it in terms of long-term, right? Like the long-term effect, if you're in sales, If you just looked at it from, from a pragmatic side, say you're in a sales position, say it's commission. Let's just go with that premise. Salespeople are watching the show. If you just came in 15 minutes early, which is nothing, 15 minutes, and you stayed 15 minutes late, that's a half hour a day. That's 2.5 hours a week. That's 10 hours a month. That's 120 hours a year, right? We know it's a 40-hour work week. That means if I'm equal in skills to the person to my right or to my left, I'm going to produce more because I'm working 3 weeks more a year than they are, simply by coming in 15 minutes early and staying 15 minutes late. Go a half hour early, half hour late. That turns into 6 weeks. Now, all of a sudden, they're looking at you like you're a superstar. In reality, no. You're just working a little harder, a little smarter. And, when you work with customers, when's the last time that you sent them a thank you card? When's the last time you text them, I appreciate your order? When's the last time you thanked them the minute they walked in and thanked them again when they left? Customer service is an area right now that can really take off, but we're struggling because lack of training, lack of vision, and lack of purpose.
My quote, my own, I love quoting myself, is customer service. Give it away free and freely. It doesn't cost anything. It's an attitude. It's an appreciation. It's a respect. It's learning the difference between being attentive and intrusive. Customer service is the most cornerstone piece of salesmanship. If you cannot customer serve, you cannot sell. Nobody wants to be sold. Nobody wants to be sold. What they want is to buy something. And the only way they're going to buy something is if the intangible customer service, attention, respect is attached to it. Because if they don't feel the respect, the appreciation, no matter what your price is, they're not going to buy from you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, when Ann walks into the store, is she going to be greeted properly? Is there going to be a smile on the person's face? Are they going to use her name during the presentation? Are they going to tell her, thank you for coming in? Are they going to help her? Because we know that she's going to most likely go to 2 or 3 other stores. And at the end of the day, who she feels most comfortable with, who she feels like valued her as a customer, who asked for the order or an appointment, was courteous and had knowledge, ultimately that's who they're going to buy from.
And who does it sincerely.
Right.
100%. And people feel that. Remember, 80% of all communication is nonverbal. People can tell. When they walk in, they can see your body language, how you carry yourself, your eye contact, your body tone, the way you cover A to Z. They realize that.
Yeah. I want to get into sales now. Can I give up writing and get into sales? I mean, I've done it before.
That'd be. I am convinced that's 100% success.
Does everybody have? Is everybody a salesperson?
Everyone's a salesperson. I mean, you're selling your brother, your wife, your cousin. You're buying.
The 3-year-old is selling his mommy and daddy.
Everyone's selling
a scoop of ice cream.
I want the cookie.
Everybody is a salesperson. Not everybody gets paid for it.
Yeah.
Right. Not everybody makes it their vocation, but every single person is a salesperson.
All right. Now I need to ask you a question then, because I've been a writer my whole life, and I also got an MBA just to make it look good.
Hey, good for
but
you.
I deviated every now and again to do something else, and typically it was in the sales arena. And I hate to use this word, but every time I tried that, I failed. And my husband says, "Well, you're just not good at it, or you're not good at closing it, or you're too kind, you're too nice. You're not aggressive enough."
I don't think you're too kind or too nice.
Well, that was what he said.
All right.
Okay, so and every time I brought up the idea of maybe doing sales, he goes, "Why would you want to do that? It's never going to work for you." So what do you tell somebody like that?
Well, I don't believe that your husband's wrong, but this is what I believe 100% unequivocally. You could absolutely be a great salesperson. And if I worked with you, I don't say this arrogantly, I believe you'd bring your best you out. So there's 3 things I'd ask right off the bat, Ann. Are you passionate about what you're selling? Because if you don't love what you're selling, it's going to be hard to sell, right? So you got to be passionate about what you sell, right? Second, are you all in? Like, you got to be all in, right? Like, if this is something I really want to be good at, right? Then you got to practice, drill, and rehearse, right? And then third, is it a great and reputable company? Look, if you go to work for a great reputable company and you love what you sell and you believe in that, right? And you practice, drill, and rehearse, there's no way you're not going to be successful. Now, are you going to be successful immediately? No, it takes time. Listen, everything takes time. It's a journey, right? But what you'll see is each month when it's measurable, you'll see success, right? You'll see each month that you become better at it, right? Because you're more comfortable with the process. You understand the product more. You're more comfortable working with customers. And once you get into that comfort zone, you become dangerous. But listen, there's no way a person who's a writer means they have a great vocabulary, incredibly articulate, smart because you got an MBA, right? There's no way that you can't be successful. You have all the measurables. So you just have to ask yourself, do I believe in it? Am I excited about
You've always been a salesperson. You just never made a lot of money doing it.
That's true.
Right? We're all salespeople. Not everybody makes a lot of money doing it.
Most don't.
Most don't. They don't know how because they haven't been motivated
Or trained
or trained.
by you.
Right.
I mean, a lot of professions, 20% of the people make 80% of the income, right? Because they're the top producers. Right?
Absolutely.
But what people should do is they should take a step back and say, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Right?
Oh, besides the 15 minutes, you mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the minimum, David. That's at the minimum. Look, man, are you going to do the least or are you going to do the max? And those are the type of questions and challenges that you have to ask yourself, right? How do I become better? Well, the only way you become better is work on your craft.
Excuse him.
I apologize.
I mean, you look at every great athlete, right? The great of the greats. And what have they always said, right? It's the measurables, right? They always worked on their skills to get better and better. They didn't just say, well, I've made it. No, they wanted to become the greatest. And how they wanted to become the greatest was continuing to work on their craft. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are going through just doing the minimum. And I see that because I'm out and about every day. And they're not engaged, and they don't ask for your name. They don't ask for an appointment, and they don't look like they care, and they don't greet you quickly, right? And this is evident anywhere, right? Walk into a nice restaurant, stand there for 5 minutes before somebody greets you. Food's no longer as good.
1 second. Ann,
Yes.
I don't know if this is a conflict of interest. You should have your own podcast. You should be telling the world this.
Yes.
You should be having every day 15 minutes with Steve Richardson to wake you up and push the right buttons and get you going. And you can talk to Brenda, who runs the Be the Best You Foundation, about some tips on how to do it. But you have a calling, my friend. This is something you should be doing. And you can do it right there from this desk, and just 15 minutes a day, put a library together of 50 or 100 different 15-minute segments. The world needs to hear your message. You can make a difference in a much bigger pond.
Especially when you steep it with like 15 minutes with
Yeah.
Stephen. That doesn't seem like a lot.
Right. 10, 15 minutes, because there's another one tomorrow. You don't have to throw up and give it all to him today. Just a little bit every day, and just throw it out there, because your energy is contagious. Your knowledge has no bound. Your passion is beyond anything I've been exposed to. You need to do this, my friend. You really, really do.
Definitely.
And I think 5 minutes of prep, 10 minutes of airtime, 15 minutes a day, you would, if nobody watched it, you would feel fulfilled because you had expressed your passions. This is something I think you'd be really good at.
Thank you.
Please
Surprised you
consider
haven't
it.
done it already.
Please consider it.
You know, the irony is that, you know, the business that we're in, flooring, it's been a very good business to both of us. Generally is the third largest purchase you'll make in your life. House number one, car number two, flooring number three. We have thousands of salespeople across the country, but we can evolve much better as a organization if we were working on training.
You can have a section just for training, for sales, but what you're talking about transcends to the widget. It could be insurance, it could be cars, it could be aluminum siding, it could be yard care. It doesn't matter. It can just be, how do you treat the stranger on the street? By giving respect, you hope to get respect in return. Your message is universal. This is something you should give strong consideration to. Seriously. You have a gift. Share it with more people.
You heard them.
Am I right?
Are we ready for this?
I'll sign up and subscribe. Every morning, I'll listen to 10 minutes of Steve Richardson before I leave the house, so I know that I can have my best foot forward when I go out into the world.
But at the end of the day, think about what you're saying, though, David, right? You have something that would make me better. Brent has something that would make me better. Everyone has something, right, that's going to make us better. And if we could all tap into that, then that's when you become the best you, right? All of us taking each person's experience and utilizing that and then living it every day.
Steve, it's not the values, it's the communication. It's how you communicate what your passions are that makes you so spectacular. It's not so much the message. There's thousands of people who can say that message. It is delivery of the passion and integrity you have that is contagious. Please consider it.
He's not going to stop now. You've started something.
Yeah,
And I know that. And believe me, I know.
I'll fight taking this down the road.
But he's the ultimate contrarian, so you have to listen when he talks, because like I said, he has served me well.
Mr. Richardson, till next time. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much. And
Love
God
you,
bless
brother.
your dad. I hope he improves.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you,
Big
brother.
thank you, David. Thank you. It was an absolute honor today.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
was. Appreciate it. Be
Be
well.
well.
Hi there, I'm Lucas Ngala. I'm the founder, owner, and CEO of Watchmen Security Services. We specialize in building security solutions like video surveillance, access control, intrusion, and fire alarm systems. For multifamily communities, we help provide a smart apartment experience and community Wi-Fi access that you can provide for your tenants. So whether you're a commercial or multifamily developer, property manager, or an owner of commercial office buildings, we tailor our security services to fit your very specific needs. We allow you to focus on your core business while we ensure the safety of your people and your investments. You can depend on Watchmen for reliable protection and seamless connectivity. Visit our website at www.watchmankc.com or call us at 816-744-8900.
I'm Big Bob.
And I'm Ann.
What's up?